My name is Stephen Latture, and I am in long-term recovery from drug and alcohol abuse and mental illness. On the morning of February 11th, 2001, I cut my wrists with a razor, climbed into a warm bath, and prepared myself to die. My father's intuition led him to the bathroom where he found me, barely conscious, in a tub full of my own blood, and he called 911. Next, I remember standing in my father's kitchen, the center of a chaotic scene, surrounded by family and noise. But at that moment, I was alone. I was bleeding out, and I was alone. Naked, confused, and completely empty. After my attempt, my sister found my dad crying alone in the living room, wondering how this could happen to his little boy. My son, he said, my little boy. He used to play in the sandbox. How could this happen to my son? To my father, drugs were an inner city problem, and depression wasn't something my family talked about. My mother died of breast cancer when I was 22. One of the last things she told my sister was, please, do not let Stephen kill himself. I think that despite my mother telling me that all I needed was more education, a career, different friends, etc., she really did know that there was more, that I was sick with depression and drowning in drugs. But we never talked about it. So my family knew, but the silence was deafening. 50% of the population will have moderate to severe levels of suicidality in their lives. Alcohol and drug abuse are the second biggest risk factor for suicide. Alcoholics and addicts are 6 times more likely to die by suicide. 50% of all suicides are directly linked to alcoholism. At least 1/4 of people who die by suicide are intoxicated at the time of death. This is chemically induced hopelessness. It is paramount that we bridge the divide between mental health, suicide prevention, and substance use disorder, because based on the statistics, suicidality and addiction are inextricably linked. I have seen firsthand from my experience working in recovery at the Harmony Foundation that families are ashamed, they are scared, and they lack the resources to help them understand. But I firmly believe that there is hope if we recognize that suicidality touches nearly every family and that there is no shame. We smash the stigma and we begin to talk about it. We will make a difference because no one should suffer alone.